light-headed feeling which comes with flying over the northernmost frontiers of Pakistan is not just because of the height. The bewitching panorama below in itself can dazzle and bewilder the most hardened of travelers. Three of the world's great mountain ranges, the Himalayas, the Karakoram, and the Hindu Kush, tower above this region. These ranges contain hundreds of gigantic peaks, among them 5 of the world's 14 highest. All around the area lie beautiful valleys and plateaus, offering a world of pleasure to campers, anglers, photographers, wildlife researchers, artists, and geologists. For some, it is enough to be among the world's greatest concentration of lofty snow-covered mountains, massive glaciers, lush green valleys and plains covered with masses of flowers. Trekking routes are attractive to some. While the tall peaks hold a magnetic charm for mountaineers despite the daunting challenges they pose for mere mortals trying to prove their superiority over them. Perhaps the biggest challenge is offered by the country's second highest mountain, the 8,126 meters high Nanga Parbat, originally called Diami or King of Mountains. Located in the northwest frontier province, the world's 9th highest mountain forms the westernmost frontiers of the Himalayas. This is where the continents have collided, with the Indian plate going under the Asian plate a few inches annually. Nanga Parbat is therefore still rising, and in fact the world's fastest rising mountain. With the greatest vertical rise from base camp to summit of any mountain, the sheer steepness of its slope does not allow snow to settle on it. Hence the popular name Nanga Parbat, literally meaning naked mountain. It also has other names. The best known ones locally are Diamori, the end of the Himalayas, and Shulmukhi, meaning 100 faces, as its outlook changes many times during the day with the changing weather. Because of the dangers it holds for mountaineers, it is known as the Killer Mountain, having claimed the lives of many climbers. Despite the mountain's forbidding nature, or perhaps because of the challenge this offers, there is no shortage of those who wish to conquer it. Though such attempts started in 1895, it remained unvanquished till 1953 when Hermann Bull, the Austrian climber, finally met with success. Others have not been so lucky. Miss Yuri Sakamoto, who is from Aichi, Japan, is not just a tourist. She is here on a special mission to pay her respect to her friend who lost his life here.
6 years ago, my friend died in this mountain. That's why I wanted to come here to pay respect to my friend. And also it's very beautiful place.
On the northward journey to Nanga Parbat from Islamabad, the first indication of the breathtaking scenes which lie ahead comes in Bisham, a town at the edge of the Indus Valley. The mighty river Indus remains a constant but aloof companion almost all along the Karakoram highway, which follows the old Silk Route which once linked China to Central Asia. After a point, the steep ascent to the rocky trail is not for the faint-hearted, especially after dark. It is therefore necessary to break the journey for the night at Chilas, a point on the ancient caravan trail. At daybreak, it is safe to move on. Stopping at the Raikot Bridge is a must to look down at the world's deepest gorge, an unbelievable 1100 meters deep. Further on, clouds of smoke rise like smoke signals to let one know that Tato village is near. These emanate from a hot spring which sprouts hot water for 10 to 15 minutes at a time and then stops only to start again. The smell of sulfur pervades the area. The turbulent hot lava beneath it is quiet these days, but it has erupted angrily at times, causing havoc. The earthquake it triggered in 2002 destroyed the local infrastructure, the roads, houses, the schools, and the health center. The spring has several useful functions also. The temperature is so high that one can easily boil an egg, or small potatoes, or for that matter any vegetable. The benefits of this spring do not stop here. People suffering from aches and pains who come here to bathe in nearby pools swear to its therapeutic effect. The hardship of the journey is soon forgotten with the first sight of the magnificent landscape, which gives an indication of the softer charms of the Nanga Parbat environment. Below the mountain's looming north face and bounded by thick pine forest is the base camp, a lush green valley at a height of 3,300 meters. This is Fairy Meadow, so named by a German expedition in 1895 because of the ethereal beauty of the place. Its otherworldly aura has led people to believe in the myths and legends that abound in this area, such as the local belief that fairies and demons visit here at night. Those interested in meeting the fairies are advised to dress well, use a dab of perfume, and at midnight go out to the village to a high spot. If you manage to raise the curiosity of the fairies, one of them will come out to check you out. Before a man ventures out on such a quest, he should think twice, because if the fairy likes him, he will have to marry her. The story goes that fairies married to humans do not appear before others, but their children can be seen. Perhaps this accounts for the beauty of the children here and the general invisibility of the women. There is also a possibility of an unexpected encounter with demons instead of fairies. While chopping wood, Hajat Mir got the feeling that invisible hands were hurling stones at him. In this situation, all he could think of was to run in fear to Anwar Khan, the local spiritualist, who is also a traditional healer. As for all such cases, he takes out a piece of the bark of the birch tree which is used as a substitute for paper. This is turned into a protective amulet with a Quranic verse duly written on it. It is then handed over and for extra protection secured in a safe place. All the resources required for local use are obtained from the wooded area and the glade. Plants that have medicinal value are found in abundance. This is providential, as besides the rudimentary first aid post, the traditional healer is the only source of medical services. He tends to minor ailments with indigenous medicine derived from local herbs, for instance by using a plant called sapsal as an antibiotic. Lifestyles are as natural as the environment. The relationship of the people with the mountains and the environment is very strong. There is no use of steel nails or screws, even in house construction. The hair of sheep and goat provides wool for garments and rug making. The elaborately embroidered dresses are now only heirlooms, preserved to be shown off to visitors. The male mode of dressing has been influenced by exposure to tourists. The dress code for females is as jealously guarded as social customs. An age-old method is still in use for processing and storing of lassi, a refreshing goat's milk drink. The goat skin is dried. To ensure that it is airtight, it is then filled with air and tossed around to harden the container. This part of the process can be great fun, so there is no dearth of volunteers. The container is then used to carry liquid from one place to another or for processing milk into butter and buttermilk. After the drink is processed in the goat skin, it is stored in earthen jars and brought out as the need arises. Rooftops are kept warm with barks of birch trees. Besides this insulation function, the bark is used for food storage and as parchment for writing. The contraption used to grind corn into flour seems to be a relic of the Stone Age. Children's sport equipment also consists of local odds and ends, but this does not dim their enthusiasm. The game of polo is believed to have originated in the laps of the mountains in the series. Young boys develop their skills in the game almost as soon as they are able to ride their family's ponies or mules. Azizur Rahman is a local hotel owner and a polo player. He says that his forefathers were the first ones to discover the stark splendor of this place when they came here to hunt. Then, because of the beauty and serenity of the place, they decided to make it their home. As the legend goes, the first recorded encounter with a non-human in the 19th century was between his grandfather and an alleged snowman. Entertainment for the local men is an evening of sitting by the fire and breaking out into a dancing frenzy. Here again the musical instruments are natural. A synchronization of hand clapping with tin trunks beaten with a stone, yet the melody is harmonious and the rhythm maintained perfect. Women and young girls are invisible in public gatherings. One can get an occasional glimpse of them outside the home, but they are mainly housebound. Little girls may be seen playing, but not with the same freedom as boys of the same age. By the time they are 10 or 11 years old, they are withdrawn into the home. They are married off early, entering into a ponderous routine of childbearing and rearing, in addition to other housework. The gentle and hospitable attitudes of the local men can turn to hostility in the face of any attempt to photograph the females. It is only during calamities like the earthquake which shattered their shelters that they become oblivious to cameras aiming at their women. Interestingly, there is much competition among the men to attract photographers to themselves or to their small children. Abdul Shakur was anxious to show off his little granddaughter and demonstrate how women use local herbs to add color to their faces while dressing up for special occasions. The little girl was not amused, perhaps because of the clumsy application of the color by the men. Here also the small boys decided to get into the act. The beauty of this place has remained untarnished because the residents respect the forest and trees for what they do for them. In fact, this is a very environment-friendly place. However, this was not always the case. The activities of a strong timber mafia were fast depleting the forest. Modus operandi included ingenious ways of making away with trees. For instance, by hammering a hook on top of the log and oiling the reverse side, they could slide it smoothly on the wooden planks, which served as an effective transmission line. The mafia's activity was checked in the early 1990s through a tough government crackdown on it, supported by environmental education campaigns by NGOs. Mr. Ghulam Nabi, a leading local environmentalist, is proud of the efforts which transformed community attitudes.
This beautiful forest, what you see around here, is not because of the results of initiatives by the government or a forest department or any major NGO. It is purely the efforts of the community. We have traditional institutions here that look after these issues: resource management, resource utilization, land use. All these parameters are well defined. We have institutions we have set up, and it is being monitored. It is being applied all through the year and in every corner of the valley. We are lucky that this area has not been overexploited, overdeveloped yet, so that we can design our future development packages for community development and for tourism development in a way that sustains the resources, in a way that does not disturb the natural beauty, in a way that yields maximum benefits to the community.
Fuel is now derived from the forest under strict regulations because trees are owned jointly by the local community and there are no individual rights to them. Perhaps this is why the demons hurl stones when they see suspicious goings-on in the forest. A genuine need for wood, for fuel or housing is considered on merit by the local welfare society and authorized as appropriate. Indiscriminate cutting of trees is tantamount to a crime liable to trial by the community court and punitive action. The mafia still surfaces periodically whenever it gets the opportunity. However, the community is vigilant and the offenders are not likely to escape capture, trial and a payment of a heavy fine. Qari Rahmatullah, the current chairman of the local welfare society, symbolizes changed community attitudes. He used to be part of the timber mafia and even spent 3 years in prison for this. He later realized the folly of his ways and is now very mindful of the need to preserve the environment for future generations. The total population of the 3 villages in the valley is about 1,000, but the people live here only for 6 months a year. By October each year, the change in the weather and in the mood of the mountains give the signal that it is time to pack up and move to warmer, more hospitable regions. Even animals must find their way out or be buried in the snow. All is quiet in the enchanted land for several months as the mountain rests in a snow-covered solitude. With the first signs of spring, the valley's devotees will head back to it. Why is it that at the first opportunity they leave behind towns and modern facilities to live in a place which has none? The answer may lie in the words of the celebrated Italian climber Reinhold Messner. He once said, "If it was in my power, I would declare the northern areas of Pakistan as protected areas and prevent the induction of modern lifestyles here. Because when the world is engulfed in smoke from factories and humans have become machines, if a son asks his father, when God Almighty created this earth, what did it look like? The father would bring him here and say, 'My son, this is what the earth was like originally when God created it.'"